Hello and welcome to a new video on our API 510 series. This series is intended for the people who are studying for API ICP examination, especially for API 510 examination, which is Pressure Vessel Inspector. In the last video, we have talked about three sections, that was scope, normative references, and terms and definitions that are going to be laid down throughout this code. In this video, we are going to talk about section 4. Section 4 lays down the requirements for owner and operator organization. What are the responsibilities for the owner or the operator who is working with that pressure vessel? What is the requirements for the inspector? What are some reporting requirements? What are some qualification requirements? All of these things are going to be laid down in section 4. So general, the owner operator of the pressure vessel shall exercise control of the vessel and pressure relief device inspection program, inspection frequency and inspection maintenance. That is, owner shall exercise control over all of these things. The owner operator is responsible for the function of authorized inspection agency in accordance with the provisions of this code. This means owner again is responsible if the authorized inspection agency is not working correctly, because owner is the one who has hired them. Okay. Next is, the owner-operator inspection organization shall also control activities related to rating, repair, alteration, and engineering assessments in the pressure vessel and relief devices. The owner-operator system and procedures. An owner-operator organization is responsible for developing, documenting, implementing, executing, and assessing pressure vessel and pressure relieving device inspection systems, inspection and repair systems, and the procedures that meet the requirement of this code. That means it is the responsibility of the owner that the inspection plan was developed, documented, implemented, executed, and assessed whatever the results were we received after the inspection. So these requirements and procedure will be contained and maintained in the quality assurance inspection or repair management system and shall include at least these items: the organization reporting structure, documenting of inspection and QA procedures, documenting, reporting, inspection, examination, and their test results, developing, documenting test plans, risk-based assessment applied to the inspection activities, establishing, documenting, and appropriate inspection intervals, corrective action for inspection and test results, internal auditing for compliance, review and approval of drawing, design calculation, engineering assessment, ensuring that all jurisdictional requirements for the pressure vessel repair, alteration, and rerating are continuously met, reporting to the inspector all or any process changes or other condition that could affect pressure vessel's integrity, training requirements for the inspection personnel, control that only qualified welders are welding, controls that only qualified non-destructive testing personnel are working there. So all of these things is the responsibility of the owner of the organization. Next is management of change. So if any change is happening in the organization, how that change is going to get managed, this procedure is known as management of change. So it is also the responsibility of the owner and user to generally have a good management of change requirements or procedure. The owner operator is responsible for implementing and executing an effective MOC process that reviews and controls the changes to either process or to the hardware. An effective MOC review process is vital to success of any pressure vessel integrity management program, as it allows the inspection group to be able to address issues concerning the adequacy of the pressure equipment design and current condition for proposed changes, anticipate changes in corrosion and other types of damage, update inspection plan and records to account for those changes. The inspection group shall be involved in approval process for the changes that may affect pressure vessel's integrity. Next is integrity operating window. Now understand, this is a very important concept right now. So integrity operating window is basically a range in which if your pressure vessel works, then this is the intended service. Okay, so let's imagine if I say that my pressure vessel, whatever pressure vessel I have, can work between minus 10 degrees Celsius to 600 degrees Celsius. In this case, minus 10 to 600 degree is the working temperature, where the lower limit is minus 10, the highest limit is 600 degrees Celsius. In this case, minus 10 and 600 is known as integrity operating window. That means in this window, my equipment is integral, my equipment knew that this was the service and it is designed for catering this temperature range. If the temperature goes below -10, or if it goes above 600, then it is going to cross this window, and this is going to be known as IOW exceedance. That is, integrity operating window has been exceeded. Okay. Now this is just an example that I have taken temperatures, but the integrity operating windows can be for multiple parameters. You can have integrity operating windows mentioning temperatures. You have integrity operating windows mentioning pressures, pH, flow rate, velocity. Multiple things can be there, but whatever is the safe working area of your equipment is generally considered to be an integrity operating window. The operator should implement and maintain an effective program for creating, establishing and monitoring the integrity operating windows. IOWs are implemented to avoid process parameter exceedances that may have unanticipated impact on the pressure equipment integrity. Future inspection plans and intervals have historically been based on prior measured corrosion rates resulting from past operating conditions. Without an effective IOW and process control program, there are often no warning of changes of the operation conditions that could affect the integrity of the equipment or validation of the current inspection plan. Deviation from and changes of the trends within the established IOW limits should be brought to attention of the inspection engineering personnel, so they may modify or create new inspection plans depending on the seriousness of the accidents. This means that whenever the IOW has been exceeded, it is the duty of the owner or user to tell this IOW exceedance to the inspector when he is inspecting the component. Because if the IOW exceedance is very severe, the inspector would change his inspection plan based on this information, so that he can understand that whatever the IOW exceedance was, any impact has happened because of it or not. Okay. IOW should be established for process parameters, both physical and chemical, that could impact the equipment integrity if not properly controlled. Samples of the process parameters include temperature, pressure, fluid, velocity, pH, flow rate, chemical or water injection rates, levels of corrosive constituents, chemical composition, etc. IOW for key process parameters may both have an upper and a lower limit established as needed. Particularly, attention to monitoring IOW should also be provided during startups and shutdowns and significant process upsets. How to identify this IOW, how to identify this integrity operating window is written in API RP 584. Okay. Now, pressure equipment integrity and incident investigations. In this, these two are new paragraphs that are added to API 510 in 2022. These two paragraphs are new. They will lay down these requirements. So, pressure equipment integrity, the owner operator should investigate pressure equipment integrity incidents and near misses to determine the root cause, contribution and direct that may result in updates of the associated inspection program, IOW, corrosion control document, etc. If PEI incidents and near misses are recognized, investigated and causes identified, then the future leaks and failures of the pressure equipment can be minimized or prevented. How to do this PEI is covered in API RP 585. Corrosion control document. Corrosion control document. The owner user may develop a corrosion control document for each process unit in accordance with the work process contained in API RP 970 or alternate methodology outlining all the mechanical integrity damage mechanisms to which the equipment and the piping is in the process is susceptible. The CCDs or corrosion control documents or alternate documents identifying the credible damage mechanism should be available to the stakeholders, that is inspector, mechanical engineers, process engineers that have a role in fixed equipment integrity. Engineer, who is an engineer, sometimes these things are asked. So engineer is pressure vessel engineer that is responsible for the owner operator to make a certain that the activities involving engineering, design, review and analysis or evaluation of the pressure vessels and pressure reading devices are required in this inspection code and are specified by the operator and owner. Repair organization. Now in most cases the repair organization is going to be a different organization. So what is a repair organization? Repair organization is an organization that is only brought down in most cases during shutdown operation, so they can carry out the repair of the pressure equipment. So this pressure repair organization is generally going to be a different organization. Sometimes it is a different organization in the same parent company. Sometimes it can be that, but in most cases it's a different organization altogether. So this repair organization is responsible to the owner operator. So again, if this repair organization doesn't work correctly, then still the blame lies to the owner or user, because they have hired some incompetent people. Okay, so whatever the requirements of the repair organization, it is going to be responsible. Whatever the repair organization does is responsible to the owner and user. An operator shall provide material, equipment, QC and workmanship necessary to maintain and repair the vessel or pressure relieving devices in accordance with the requirements of the inspection code. The repair organization shall meet one of the following criteria: the holder of valid ASME certificate of authorization that authorizes the use of appropriate ASME BPVC symbol stamp. So ASME certified organization, holder of another recognized code construction certificate that authorizes the use of appropriate construction code symbol stamp, holder of valid R stamp issued by National Board for Repair of Pressure Vessel, holder of valid VR stamp issued by National Board of Repair and Servicing of the Relief Valves, owner operator of the pressure vessels or relief valve who repairs his or her own equipment in accordance with this code, and the repair contractor whose qualifications are acceptable to the pressure vessel owner operator, an individual or the organization authorized by the legal jurisdiction to repair the pressure equipment or pressure relieving devices. So any of these, if followed, then an organization can be a repair organization. Next is an inspector. The entire document, the inspector is going to be referred to the person who has API 510 certificate. So the inspector is responsible to the owner operator to assure the inspection, non-destructive examination, repair, alteration and pressure testing activities meet the API 510 code requirements. The inspector shall be directly involved in the inspection activities, especially visual inspection, which in most cases will require field activities to confirm the procedure and inspection plan are followed. Inspector may be assisted in performing inspections by properly trained and qualified individual acceptable to the owner operator. However, all non-destructive results that shall be evaluated and accepted in accordance with API 510 by the inspector, who then will make appropriate recommendations for repair, replacement or fitness for continued service. The inspector shall be certified in accordance with the provisions of Annex B. The inspector can be an employee of the owner or can be a contractor acceptable to the owner operator. This means that the inspector is going to be responsible whatever the repair is getting carried out, whatever inspection is getting carried out for a pressure vessel, and this inspector is responsible for all of these things, and he is also responsible to the owner. Okay. Secondly, the inspector needs to verify almost all of the things, but the inspector is going to employ, or the inspector will have personnel who would help him out for in-service examination. So the inspector may consult corrosion specialist. Inspector may consult or may employ non-destructive examination personnel. Based on all of the results that he get, he would do some recommendations for repair and alterations. And accordingly, your inspection is getting carried out. So whatever the inspection is happening on the pressure vessel, the final authority, if this inspection is going to be appropriate or not, is going to be the responsibility of the inspector. Okay. Examiners are the person who are going to perform non-destructive examination. So the examiner shall perform non-destructive examination in accordance with the job requirements, non-destructive examination procedures and owners or operators specification. The examiner does not need API 510 inspector certification and does not need to be the employee of the owner and operator. So the non-destructive testing personnel does not need API 510 examination or does not need API 510 certification. Owner, he can be an employee of the owner or he can also be a third-party inspector. Okay. The examiner does not need to be trained and competent in non-destructive examination procedure that does need to be trained and examined and competent in non-destructive examination procedures that are used and may be required by the owner operator to prove competency by holding certification in those procedures. The examples of certification may include SMTTC 1A certification, ASMTCP 189, CGSP, AWS QC1. The inspectors conducting their own examination with non-destructive examination techniques shall also be appropriately qualified in accordance with the owner-operator requirements. The examiner employers may maintain certification record for the examiners employed, including dates and results of the personal qualification. These records are available to the inspector, who is responsible for the owner operator to determine all non-destructive examiner are properly qualified for the work in which they perform. Other personnel also will support the inspector in carrying out this kind of inspection. There can be multiple personnel. You can have operating staff, you can have designers, you can have engineers, you can have corrosion specialists, you can have people who are responsible for the working of the equipment. All of these personnel are going to be other personnel that are going to support the inspector in carrying out his duties. So, operating, maintenance, engineering and other personnel who have special knowledge or expertise related to particular pressure vessels or pressure relieving devices shall be responsible for timely notification to the inspector or engineer of potential issues that may affect vessel integrity as following. Any action that requires MOC, operations outside defined IOWs, changes in source of feedstock and other process fluids that could increase process related corrosion rates, vessel failures, cleaning and decontamination methods, reports that may come in their attention of the other plant experiences with similar service, any unusual conditions that may develop, any engineering evaluation including FFS assessment that might require current or future actions. Next is inspection organization audit. So whoever is the inspection organization, whoever is going to run this inspection, that organization also needs to be audited so that owner user can be satisfied that they are competent enough. So each owner operator organization should be audited periodically to determine if the authorized inspection agency is meeting the requirements of this inspection code. The audit team should consist of the people experienced and competent in the application of this code. The audit team should typically be from another operator, plant, site or central office, or a third party organization experienced and competent in refinery and petrochemical process plant inspection programs, or a combination of a third party and owner operator sites. However, periodic self-auditing by those directly involved in the inspection organization is also recommended. That is, periodic internal audit should also be taken into consideration. The audit team should determine in general whether the requirements and the intent of this inspection code are being met, owner-operator responsibility are properly discharged, document inspection plans are in place, interval and extent of inspection are adequate for covered pressure vessel, general types of the inspection and surveillance are adequately applied, inspection data analysis, evaluation, recording are adequate, repair, re-rating, alteration and engineering assessment comply with this code. The owner-operator should receive a report of the audit team finding when the non-conformances are found. The owner-operator authorized inspection agency shall take necessary corrective action. Each organization needs to establish a system for tracking completion of the corrective action generated from the audit finding. The resolution of the audit finding should be made available to the audit team for review. This information should be reviewed during the subsequent audits. So these are the requirements that are needed by the owner, user or operator. Now in this section we have seen who is an inspector, who is an engineer, who is an owner, who is an inspection organization, who is a repair organization, what are some responsibilities of these organizations, what are the responsibility of the owner, user, inspector, repair organization. All of these things are laid down here. In the next video we are going to talk about inspection, examination, pressure testing practices. Now the meat of this code is generally going to be in section 5, because section 5 is going to tell you that how inspection is going to get carried out for the pressure vessel. Okay, that's it for this video. In the next video we'll be talking about section 5 of API 570 code. That's it for this video. Thank you.